This is Kanzenshuu, the podcast, episode 304 for the week of July 15th, 2012. Hey, internets, welcome to Kanzenshuu,
the podcast,
an extension of the all-encompassing Dragon Ball fan site.
Kanzenshuu.
That's right, we cover anything and everything Dragon Ball in hopes of enlightening and a little bit of entertaining. Let's start across from me joining. When was the last time you were here? You're here all the time. But...
I know. I live here. I guess a month ago?
Yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah.
Meri, welcome back to Kanzenshuu.
It's good to be back in this here piece.
Dragon Ball news.
I know.
Big times.
I know. This is something I can talk about.
All right. Glad to have you
Finally.
I know. I have an opinion on something, so I figured I should put in an appearance.
Meri has thoughts. All right. Also joining us, of course, across the internet's halfway, across this here country, Heath, Mr. Hujio, sir, from the aforementioned Kanzenshuu.
I'm back 2 weeks in a row.
Wows. We can do this.
Look at this.
We're totally weekly again.
Summertime's usually crazy.
I knew it could happen, but I didn't want to believe it till I saw it.
Gotta believe. Hashtag believe. So we got Meri over there. We got Heath over there. That leaves me. My name, Mike, VegettoEX. I gathered you all here today to talk about Dragon Ball with me, but more specifically about the news that was confirmed mere hours after we finished recording last episode of the podcast.
Funny how that works.
Hate when that happens. Before we ran out to work, I guess that would have been, Tuesday morning, because we recorded Monday. I recorded one of those, news, we'll talk about it next week, record scratch out, back to episode.
And I love how we completely joked about it in the podcast. We're like,
oh, totally.
Yeah, there's a D, but I really don't think it's going to be anything.
I know.
Oh.
Shit. Felt awful.
Blah,
but
blah.
Here we are talking about the movie this week that is going to be our topic and your topic as well. We're of course going to cover the news about the movie, but we're going to talk about what we want and what we hope and we're expecting this new movie for 2013 to be, our thoughts, but also all of your thoughts coming in on Twitter for the last hour, continuing to come in. We will cover your thoughts as well. So we got some non-movie news. We got the movie news and the topic, and we got all your feedback. That's a pretty jam-packed show in and of itself. So before we hit the news, anything going on? Heath, you and I have been working on some... Oh, we'll talk about that at the end of the show.
Yeah, that's end of the show stuff.
End of show material. I forget how we do... See, when we go weekly, I forget how to do it. If we're bi-weekly, I remember how to do the show. Something like that.
It's the only Dragon Ball stuff that I have other than
it's just
what we're
side
about
stuff.
to talk about.
All right. Right, Meri?
Right.
Okay. News. We got two bits of non-movie news, both video game related. One I just posted like 2 hours ago, something like that.
Mike, I'm tired of these video games. Can we get on to something else?
No.
I think we got that.
What?
What we're talking about with the topic.
What?
Because otherwise, it would just be video game news.
Well, we would have a real topic otherwise, but...
No, I know that, but...
The news itself. Meri, why don't you tell us what this grand news is?
I'd be happy to.
Okay.
Budokai HD Collection was announced for coming out here in North America. So during Comic-Con, Namco Bandai has confirmed a North American release of Dragon Ball Z Budokai HD Collection for the PS3 and Xbox 360. And they put out a trailer, which is exactly the same as the one released by the European branch last week. You can go find that online if you want to see what it is.
Instead of Peggy, it's ESRB.
So this thing, as you may know, is a little bit weird in that it's a collection of the first and third Budokai games, no number 2.
Nope.
And it's due out sometime this winter. There's no word yet on a Japanese release, which is really kind of interesting.
Yeah, well, the Budokai games did really well in Europe and North America. So it's not surprising that we're getting it. I'm not entirely surprised that the Kinect game doesn't have a Japanese release announced. I'm kind of surprised this does not have a Japanese announce.
Maybe they realize that this is like where the people have money and care more about Dragon Ball these days.
Yeah, well, you get the new movie coming out, so weird.
We've got to have our booty.
Oh, booty. Yeah, what is that word again, Meri? How do you pronounce the word?
Budokai.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Budokai.
One more time for the kids.
Budokai.
Thank you.
Not Budokai.
Not
hey,
Budokai.
yo, I got my Budokai. I'm out in the club and I'm Budokai. Oh, yeah. Budokai. No. Fuck that shit.
I believe the phrase is F that noise.
No, I'm saving that for later.
Okay.
I'm going to be the foul one this episode, just
Yeah,
so
she
y'all
is.
know.
This podcast was totally worth it just for all that.
We need Meri to break out into song more often. Geez. Okay. Heath, why don't you wrap it up with the other video game news?
Oh, great. More video game news.
Well, I mean, it's video game news, but it's kind of feature news, too.
Yeah, this was pretty
suppose so.
cool.
So last time we learned, well, in the last podcast, we learned that Episode of Bardock would be an exclusive feature for the Dragon Ball Z on Connect game. Or was it Dragon Ball Z 4 Connect, I guess? Anyway, we have recently learned via GameSpot that Episode of Bardock will indeed be subbed and not dubbed. So, woo!
Woohoo.
Which basically means, I'm not wooing that it won't be dubbed. Just the fact that Funimation decided it's not worth their time.
Well, Funimation, I wouldn't phrase it that way. I would
That's
phrase
true.
it more that Namco Bandai decided
Probably
it wasn't
gets
worth
to
their time.
saying it,
reference.
yeah.
Yeah. So don't listen to me.
I won't. I never do. The only other thing is that you can watch it right away, just like Raging Blast 2.
Yeah,
Super
you won't
Science.
have to play through anything. You won't have to reach a certain level. It's just there as a little bonus movie.
Yep. That's the news. Everyone's waiting to hear about the movie, so let's just talk about the movie. So on July 10th, it was actually super early in the morning. It was one of those things I woke up and, Meri, new Dragon Ball movie.
Yeah, that was funny getting ready for work and,
Not allowed to go to sleep.
yeah.
Because it happened at like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Our
Yep.
time.
So, Heath, actually, why don't you give us the back history one more time with the Super Countdown D thing?
So let's see. This was about 2 weeks ago, if I remember correctly, that this website just kind of popped up. Well, a page on Shonen Jump's official Japanese website, which gave us a countdown to something associated with D, and it would be a strongest activation of some sort relating to this D, and we had no idea what it was. People were guessing on Twitter. Shonen Jump was saying, yeah, a lot of people have guessed the correct thing, the correct series specifically, and that's about all we knew. They said you'd have to wait until this point in time. Well, of course, we didn't have to wait until Saturday, July 14th, because it was leaked early. Right off the bat, this leak came out, and we basically all had to change pants that morning.
That's what went down. Yeah, and I mean, Jump was coming out, and everything leaks early anyway, so I think
Is that really a leak then?
Yeah, because the pages were scanned ahead of the magazine's actual release.
They weren't
okay.
actually on shelves. Yeah.
Okay,
Right,
that
right.
was not made clear to me.
Gotcha. Well, that's what happened. So then they had to adjust the countdown, and they threw in this kind of shadowy Shenlong in the background. At that point, confirming, yes, it's going to be Dragon Ball related.
Because we know you already know.
And then we got the scans from the magazine, which confirmed, yes, new Dragon Ball movie coming in March. Stay tuned for details and all that stuff. Geez. And then we got more information, and it's kind of a lot of information. So we know that a new animated, 2D animated, although people have also been asking, is it going to be in 3D? And by 3D, they don't mean
CG.
polygonal CG, but stupid projections into your eyes. 2D animated theatrical Dragon Ball movie getting a wide release in Japan, due out on, March 30th, 2013. So it's coming relatively soon. I don't know, maybe it's not that soon, but March is going to
9
creep up
months
on
away?
us. So I say it's coming. It's coming soon. I'm ready.
Well, and usually when they throw out something like this, it's even farther ahead of time. I mean, there's lots of time, but I think they really wanted to build this up. So we do have a little shorter window than you see with a lot of animated films.
Righto. So the Countdown website, it had this, I don't know if you call it a tagline, but it was the mightiest to make their move. And now we also have all humanity has been waiting toward an unprecedented excitement. This is the kind of promotional, getting you hyped up for the new Dragon Ball movie. Heath, actually, we now have names to attribute to the movie. So why don't you give us a rundown on 3 of the people? One of them we know pretty well.
Yeah, so the movie's director was announced to be Masahiro Hosoda, which I believe he has directed several episodes of Dragon Ball Z. I know he was pretty prevalent in the Cell arc. And then we have a new scriptwriter, someone that's never worked on anything Dragon Ball related, but he's worked on many other anime. We have Yusuke Watanabe. And then, of course, I don't want to say dear friend, but I mean, Tadayoshi Yamamuro, I think we haven't discussed him yet in our breakdown.
He's the neglected of the big
designers,
three.
But we'll have to hit him up before this movie comes out, I suppose.
Yeah, now we kind of have
Sounds
a
like
reason.
you got your homework cut out for you.
I say Heath have his homework cut out for him.
That stuff's already written.
Oh, that's right.
But don't let the kids know. So he will be heading up the animation for the movie, and he is the one who also did all the promo artwork that we've seen thus far.
But probably the most significant thing here is everyone's always waiting. What does the man himself, Akira Toriyama, have to say about this new movie? Meri, you are going to play the role of Mr. Forgetful himself.
All right.
Which he's about to mention. Can you please read the quote from Toriyama regarding this new project?
It's rare, or should I say, it's the first time that I've been deeply involved with the animation from the script writing stage. As it's been a while, there's a lot I'd forgotten, but as expected of the creator of the original work, I was soon able to get back into the tempo of things at least. For this film, while leaving the atmosphere of the original intact, we've added just a little bit of modern flavor, so I think it will be an enjoyable piece of entertainment, just like old times.
All right, let's tear this man's words completely
Jesus Christ,
apart.
are we doing that?
Yes,
It
we
means
are.
it's canon.
Can't leave well enough alone.
But really, the big thing here is, all right, it's going to feel like classic Dragon Ball with a modern flavor. What do you think that means?
I don't know, I gotta take all this with a grain of salt.
Because it's just Toriyama talking.
And also,
saying
it's like
things.
vague, Japanese descriptive stuff that they say one thing and then it ends up turning out to be something else or not even remotely like it. So
Yeah.
maybe he just means like the animation is more modern because,
See,
duh.
that's
Right.
kind of what I was thinking in a way. I mean, it could be a lot of things. I don't really know if you can say modern because Dragon Ball, even in the original Dragon Ball, there were computers and capsules. And so introducing a cell phone into this movie, I don't think would really do much.
Well, we had a computer and the internet in the Jump Super Animator special, so...
Yeah.
It's the kind of thing where when Crisis Core and some of the other Final Fantasy VII stuff came out, all of a sudden cell phones were introduced in there. Cell phones weren't really prevalent back in 1997, so it was kind of weird in that world. But in Dragon Ball, the technology is so strange and out of place, yet everything is timeless at the same time. I don't think that any of those, like you're saying, any of those types of inclusions, I don't think that's the modern edge. It's probably just, we're making it in 2012, 2013. It looks shiny.
Yeah.
It's the best
I mean,
I got.
that's what I got out of it. I love animation, so who knows?
So we got a new website, DragonBall2013.com, a new site that they have up. Initially, it was a bunch of dashes because they weren't expecting people to be accessing it early.
7 dashes.
So, for the Dragon Balls. I see.
Should have been 7 asterisks.
That would have been cute.
Ooh.
Would have been nice. So
7
thinking,
smiley
Meri.
faces.
but now we have a real kind of teaser site. It's got a couple images. We got character art that because it's just layered on top of each other, so we just ripped it out, threw it up on the
And
homepage
thank
of the site.
you so much to whoever designed the website for doing that.
I know, right?
It's so nice having ping files that
I know, and they're
backgrounds
pings,
and you can just pull them right off.
Oh, transparent. Everything's wonderful. Heath, is there anything to say about the website right now? It's kind of basic, same information we saw. Even the news update is just like, hey, check out Shonen Jump for information.
Yeah, it was essentially the exact same thing. The only thing I was thinking that we kind of skimmed over a little bit was the fact that when we first learned of everything, it just said Dragon Ball movie. So for a while, we're like, oh, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball. And it wasn't until the scans came out from the magazine that we realized it's actually, they're titling it a Dragon Ball Z movie.
I guess that's important to note because both the Jump Super Animator special and episode of Bardock and even Plan to Eradicate the Super Science, that's all just been Dragon Ball. Just flat out Dragon Ball. This is
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. This is the first time that the new animation is getting the Z branding. Of course,
And
the
not
Kai
Kai.
branding totally gone.
That didn't even occur to me. Yeah, they're
Rest
done with
in
that branding.
Yeah, rip Kai.
Well, that's kind of... Okay, we'll save it for later.
What were you going to say? Because it appears to be later in the story.
Exactly.
So, why don't we just talk about it right now?
I think part of it is more from a production standpoint, if anything, because a lot of that other stuff was done by Shueisha.
Right.
Through the various Jump magazines. So a lot of that stuff, whenever Shueisha refers to the series, it's always Dragon Ball. Even if it takes place during the Z era that we know in the anime. But anything that's usually put on by Toei is when they tack on the Kai or the Z. So
Right.
I think that's really the differentiation that happens.
Yeah, I don't know that we can read too much into it other than the Kai branding is gone. Mary, you did want to mention, obviously, it's Boo-ish era, and Kai didn't get to there, but people have pointed to, Ultimate Butoden on the DS, that covered Boo's stuff. Saiyajin Raishu, was that? Attack of the Saiyans, did pre-Dragon Ball Z stuff, and that still was labeled Kai, and merchandise in Japan. Movie stuff was still called Kai. This is just Kai is dead, so we need the real branding again here.
Which I think probably works in this movie's favor.
Sure.
Just if they're trying to work that nostalgia factor and maybe people who are our age or older, trying to get them into the movie theaters, they might have missed the whole Kai thing. They might be like, well, what the heck is Kai? But Dragon Ball Z, everyone knows.
I think it's a smart bet. It's a safe bet.
Yeah, can I just say that I think it's great that they went back to it, because I think it's one thing that they missed out on with Kai is the older generation. They decided they want to go for that younger generation.
Yep.
And I really think if they would have done Kai more so in a movie type fashion like this, where you get butts in seats instead of a weekly episode, they could have made so much more money. And I think someone along the line said, why don't we do this? And this is kind of what we ended up with. But I mean, it's all pure speculation, but that's kind of my feeling toward what happened.
Sure.
I don't know if you guys have anything like that.
You kind of got my wheels and my brain turning. I'm playing a what if scenario if they had done Kai a la the new Evangelion movies.
Yeah.
Where it's like
people have asked that too.
4 movies just in the theaters. And I mean, I don't know how well Ava does over there in terms of like being in the theaters, but surely the fanboys will eat it up.
You know this. It's all about selling the yearly new figures of Asuka and Rei in swimsuits. And that's what Evangelion is for. Dragon Ball is not. They do a little bit of that with the
Goku in swimsuits.
Not Goku.
No. Chi-Chi and 18.
Chi-Chi, yeah. So, Heath, I guess in terms of other news about this right now, something you tweeted, I don't think we updated with this tidbit of information, but a certain studio named Fox is actually involved in this somehow.
What?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It's actually, it's in the copyright information, and if you don't know Japanese, it does not stand out very much because it's all written in katakana.
Is it Fox?
Yeah.
Is it our Fox though?
Fox International something. I can't remember what it was.
Right.
Yeah, Fox is listed on there. There's even a tiny little 20th Century Fox logo down there by Toei's.
So the question here is, why would that be there? Are they helping?
Maybe they just helped fund it.
Co-fund it? Or is there already a larger international broadcast, not broadcast, but
release,
theatrical debut, maybe not even theaters? Would they skip over Funimation entirely to go to Fox to distribute? Because this is going to be bigger than, DBZ movie 13.
I think that would be pretty major if they entirely skipped over.
I know. I mean, there's contracts in place. I think. Wouldn't that be pretty hard to circumvent?
Well, we also know that Funimation's license is set to expire in 2015, but that's
15.
like
it's
way
too far
off. So
I place my bets on just co-funding
or some kind of stipulation from Evolution where it's like we get some type of recognition for future productions in theaters.
Who knows?
It would have to be something with theaters because I've never been on anything before. So
right.
Yeah, my original guess was kind of a distribution sort of thing, but I mean, even that's kind of hokey because it would only have to do with them. I wouldn't even say rights, but they would get, compensated for the movie being distributed throughout the world.
Yeah,
so
maybe they would help distribute it to theaters.
Yeah, I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't see them skipping
My
Funimation.
entire guess, though, is that it has nothing to do with any of the story writing, anything like that. So if people want to get up in arms about anything, don't let it be about that.
Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about Chatku kind of seeping into this new movie here. Not a concern. Is there anything else that we know newsish about the movie right now? This is all just kind of coming out day after day, just initial announcements.
I actually have a question.
Okay.
Is this the first time a Dragon Ball movie has been in theaters by itself and not part of the Toei film thingies that they used to do in the 90s? Yeah.
Besides Evolution and I think the 10th anniversary movie might have been in theaters, but I can't remember for sure.
And I mean, they were all distributed to theaters after their debut, but the debuts were always like the Toei Summer Festival with something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they were always, with other anime series. So they'd have like 3 movies back to back.
I would say this is the first modern-ish. This is what you're going to see. You're going to just the big Dragon Ball movie. Mm-hmm. We haven't really had something like that before, other than maybe like you're saying the 10th anniversary. We'd have to double check that, but
which to me makes this really exciting.
Yeah,
it's just like, wow.
So that's kind of the news about the movie right now. Again, it's coming out day after day. We'll figure out more as it comes. So we wanted to talk about what we want from this movie, what we hope and expect and wish it to be, because we know so little about it right now. We can sit back and play the speculation card. So we're going to cover what we want, and then we're going to turn it over to you guys and see what you want. Heath, I guess you're going to start us off here and talk about runtime and what you hope or are afraid of, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword in the sense that I know a lot of people want a very long runtime because we've never had anything like this, and I can't really blame them because I honestly would sit down and probably watch a 3-hour awesomeness. Oh my God, what is happening?
If it were
at the same time, yes, then you run the chance of the first hour is really good, and then there's what the hell was the last 2 hours. So I think they're going to have to find a happy medium. I think it also largely depends on what the story is. What does Toriyama come up with? Are we having a villain? We don't even know that yet. Are we having a tournament? Are we... there's so many things that could be happening in this movie that we just don't have details about. But I can't imagine they're going to come out with a 40-minute movie. I just really don't. I think it'll be at least an hour, if not a little more. But I don't think they'll really push the 2-hour boundary. I think that's about the extent of what they would do.
I think theatrical for Dragon Ball, something like 70, 75 minutes might be a sweet spot. We do have a new scriptwriter coming on board, so we got to take that into consideration. But I don't necessarily trust the staff to be able to do, like you were saying, a 90, 100-minute movie. I just don't know that Dragon Ball's got the appropriate pacing to do something like that.
I think it'd be the Frieza arc all over again of people going, oh my God, what?
Just get on with it.
Just got dragged out.
Right,
you can't have one fight for 90 minutes.
So that's what I'm hoping, somewhere around 70, 75. What about you, Meri? What do you hope for in terms of a length here?
I guess because it is a theatrical movie, I would certainly feel shortchanged if it was just our typical 45-minute movie,
so
like a lot of the old ones.
At least an hour?
It would have to be at least an hour, but no more than maybe 100 minutes.
Even then, I think that's pretty long. But
I think it is pretty long, but I think they could do it if it had the right story and the right plot. So...
What kind of setup would you want? You think back to kind of the main, at least for Z, the main 13 movies, where it's the characters gather at the beginning of the movie, or we have some kind of foreshadowing thing. Everyone gets together, they fight the henchmen, Goku fights against the bad guy, loses for a little bit, finds something either within himself or his friends contribute, and he overcomes the bad guy, and everyone laughs at the end.
I'll be kind of pissed if it's that again.
Just the standard Dragon Ball Z movie formula.
Exactly. Although I think we do need the characters gathering at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I think every movie that has come out has done a really good job at that.
Well, Jump Super Anime Tour Special did it spectacularly.
Yeah.
Having everyone come together for a party.
It's going to be hard to top that one.
Yeah.
But if it's the same old Goku is the one... I mean, of course it's going to be Goku.
Goku is the one.
And then he fails, and then Gintama.
So what would help switch up that formula a little bit for you?
Anything different from that.
You got to come up with something.
Oh, God, I don't know.
That's why you're not writing the movie, I guess.
I'd say Gohan, but they did that too for the, movies 10 and 11?
9,
10, and 11.
Well,
and
no.
Goku ends up helping out anyway.
Gohan wasn't in 11. It was the kids.
Okay. Gohan.
Was Gohan in 11 at all?
He was in 10.
Yeah, I know he was in 10. So what was he doing during 11?
No, he wasn't in 11 because it was 18.
Right.
Kids,
Okay.
And then Satan.
Man, 11 was weird.
Bio Broly. That's what we need.
No.
More Bio Broly.
Heath, what do you think about the formula for the movie? What's something they could do here to shift it up and make it that modern flavor?
The modern flavor. I think we could have some more city scenes. I always liked in movie 7 where they're shopping.
Oh, yeah.
I love
You
that.
know, they're in a normal life.
Yes.
Or even in movie 8 where let's
My
try to
hobbies,
get Gohan into a school.
Reading and sports. Yep.
Yeah.
All that real life stuff is great.
I think that would be neat. I would watch that for, the first 15 minutes of everyone just going around seeing their daily lives. What are they doing? Is Goku going off hiding from Chi-Chi so he can train with Goten, or, just little things like that. But I do agree that I think it really needs to switch up from what it's been doing. Obviously, the way it looks right now, we're not getting any sort of retelling of anything, but even that's not confirmed.
Right.
I don't know if I'd like a retelling.
I feel like
Would you like a retelling?
No.
If it was the Kaiification of Boo, that would be interesting because they're not using the Kai branding.
Right.
So that makes it a little improbable right there, but I almost feel like it would be a nice bookend to Kai. But I have to admit, if it was a retelling of Boo, I would honestly be kind of disappointed, even though it would wrap things up neatly in a tidy
My
little
whole
box.
thing, I think, would be if it is a retelling of Boo, I'd almost want to see a retelling of everything else, so I'd have like a collection.
Yeah.
But that's how I am. I like collections start from finish. So
Sure. Let me give you an example here. Movie 13.
I was just about to say movie 13 is probably the one that
switches up a little
yes,
bit.
switched
What's
up.
the little dude's name? Is it Hoy?
Tapion?
No, not Tap.
No,
What
yeah.
are we
Hoy.
talking about?
No, the
Hoy.
little troll dude that's trying to bring
pink
back
guy.
Oh,
Hildegard.
right.
Hoy.
Hey, Hoy. Poi.
Hoey.
Whatever his name is, he's kind of part of the group, stringing them along for a little bit until we get Tapion back. I thought that helped. And again, we had a little bit of that daily life. The stuff with him in Capsule Corps, just talking to people, is spectacular. So if we can get another sympathetic kind of character in the new movie, I would enjoy that. I'm not sure that I need the formulaic fight against like everything that we said about the villain stuff before. I want maybe another hero character.
So
I don't know.
Are you saying that you think to progress the story, we are going to have some new characters, not just a new villain?
I think we need it. And Jump Super Anime Tour Special, I thought, did a great job of that, even if it's Vegeta has a brother. But we got the remnants of Frieza's army a little bit in there. So it had the ties back to existing stuff. So you can kind of put it all in perspective and kind of all feels like the real world. If we introduce just totally new stuff, but then I think about the Dragon Ball Online story bits, and we've been saying we would love some of that stuff to be adapted.
Oh my god, I would. My head would explode.
Again, the
if they
remnants
animated
of Frieza's
like
army.
the Dragon Ball Online.
Oh,
Just pad that out. Just turn it into some wacky adventure, and I will just die.
and there's so many good kind of little one-off stories within all of that it ties into better, larger stories, but they could all be used on their own individual movies, and you could tie it all together into Dragon Ball Online and finally release Dragon Ball Online to a global audience. I think that's kind of a great marketing, make money plan. I'm throwing money at my computer right now. That's what I
think
want.
a lot of people would be.
That's what I want. So that's what I want, and I hope this movie turns out to be. I don't know that it's going to be something like that, because maybe that's too smart.
What would you think of something that's more of a tournament style with Goku actually fighting Vegeta and Piccolo? And then we have Gohan with his Ro Kaioshin power-up.
I think we're at a point in the series there where everyone's too strong that any of those fights could just be so spectacular that why would I want to watch Goku versus Vegeta after just watching Goku versus Piccolo? I mean, even though Goku is far outclassed Piccolo at this point, we know how strong and smart of a fighter he is, that it would be something akin to Goku versus Tenshinhan at the 23rd Budokai, where even though you know Goku's gonna win, it was still so spectacular of a fight that I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to see but then Goku versus Piccolo was so good. So I don't know, but within the span of a single movie, I don't think that makes sense to do.
Especially
Okay.
since they kind of had an opportunity to do that with movie 8 And even then, it only took up like maybe 15 minutes of the
9?
movie. 9.
8 is Broly.
Sorry, 9.
Oh, God. This is how far out of the
Get
game
out.
I am.
You're done.
I've forgotten all the numbers. No,
So
they're
that's
far
my
from-
answer to tournament
I think
stuff.
I completely agree, though.
Okay.
Because I was just curious. Maybe we just answered a question, but I remember at some point seeing somebody say, "Oh, I'd love to see tournament style." I don't know if I would want to sit through an hour, 15-minute movie just watching matchups. I think it works great for a weekly running series where, but we've seen everybody fight before. So I just don't know how well it'd work.
My exception would be if Toriyama is that involved, I think he could make it work if he brings in his humor.
Yeah.
If he makes it like the good old days.
Because the tournament at this level, again, because everyone's so strong, it would have to be slapsticky to make it work within just an hour or so. Because otherwise, you're looking at something like Majin Vegeta versus Goku, which is just, if they didn't wrap that up with a knockout kind of outside the rules of their own fight, that thing would have just kept going and going and going. So we would need something to kind of bring a halt to it. But I think this is going to address one of our questions or thoughts later on, where someone's like, but I want to see the entire thing and not like we all got to run off and do something else right now instead
That's
of
a
fighting
good
this
point.
tournament.
It would be nice to actually see it fulfilled.
Yeah. So there's that.
I wouldn't mind seeing a tournament, but it would not be my first favorite pick of a plot.
I
for
agree.
this
I
movie.
agree.
So I think, I don't know how to phrase this, the elephant in the room is, will Satan be in this movie, and who will voice him?
I already forgot who the replacement actor is, but I don't think that's going to prevent them. Tenshin Han as well. We've got Midori Kawa playing him. I don't think they're going to shy away from the Kai voice replacements. Those seem to be the official replacement voices going forward in games and in cutscenes and other stuff now. So, but yeah, I don't know that I can watch a feature without
I think
Gory.
Satan will definitely be in the movie, especially... I thought it right away the second I heard that Toriyama's
involved, yep.
He has said that he loves
him.
Satan. So then my next question is, will he ever be referred to as Mark in the movie?
Oh, that's a good question.
Wouldn't that be an interesting twist?
Just someone offhand.
Or
mentions it.
even a sign, like in the bathroom, maybe, he's toilet and the sign on the door is Mark's bathroom. I don't know.
Yeah. So you want some little more recent
I want some Easter
nods.
eggs like that.
Okay.
Just like, only if you're paying attention would you get that.
And this kind of ties back to the Dragon Ball Online stuff I was talking about earlier, and I know other folks have wondered this as well. Could we get something like Mira and Toa and the Ma Kaioshin and the Ma Kaios tied in with this? That could make for a really interesting story as well, I think.
I think so. I would definitely love to get more information about the Makaioshin.
Again, just set up the Dragon Ball Online story.
I know. That's all you got.
Especially because Toriyama had a hand in that too, right?
Right.
He's
So
already
build on
done
it.
all the hard work by coming up with the ideas. Now he just needs to flesh it out into a cohesive story.
As if it's so easy. Like, just write a story. Come
Just
on, man.
do it.
What's the
God.
problem?
I'm giving you my money anyway.
No matter what, you're right. We're going to go see it. Do we have any other thoughts, hopes, wishes for the movies? We got a lot from the audience to hit up. And
I
maybe...
do.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to jump back to the plot real quick because
Sure.
you kind of mentioned it and it jogged my memory that for me, this movie, I don't want it to be just action, but I don't want it to be just goofy humor. I want a nice combo, something that, is cohesive, is going to work together. I know a lot of people complain for the Jump Super Anime Tour special that, it was way too goofy for me.
And those people are all stupid.
Exactly.
I don't
But-
even pay attention to the internet. I had no idea that
See,
people
good
were
for you,
saying that.
Meri.
That was so depressing. It's like, how could you
Yeah.
not like this? This is the greatest thing in the history of ever.
But anyway,
And they
like
must
you were
be
saying.
sad people.
I just want something that I think they need to go for the mass audience of
Yeah.
you need to have the action to hold people. You need the humor to bring those people in. Because I think a lot of, I want to say the older crowd, especially in Japan, people that grew up with Dragon Ball, they love the gag stuff.
And not even just gags, but just the fun aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing our friend, that's what the Jump Super Anime Tour special was. It was Son Goku and his friends return. It was this regathering after such a long period of time. And just having all your friends together again and having fun was so spectacular. So we've lost a little bit of that because we've had a couple bits of new animation over the last couple of years. But I think it still needs to have a little bit of that to get the older fan nostalgia, get their butts in the seats, like you said.
So I think as far as plot, that's really more what I'm looking for, and then I'll be interested to find out what some of the details are around it. But then the other thing, because, this is where my kind of background comes from, but I want to know what the animation style is going to look like.
Yeah.
I know.
Because honestly, we've seen a lot from the Bardock, episode of Bardock to Jump Super Anime Tour special. Super Saiyan Hair has been done so many different ways.
Yeah.
We've had different animation styles. Things have been drawn on the computer differently. I'd like to see some happy medium. I think more so like what we see in this promotional material. If they could make it high enough budget to carry something like that throughout the film, and make it just look so gorgeous, I would drool. And I think some of the plot points for me, you could kind of gloss over a little bit. But I don't know. Because we've had really good animation in the movies, but at the same time, we've never had a movie like this.
I want the animation style from some of the video game openings.
Yeah.
Like, those were so gorgeous that it's like, this is just like 2 minutes long. Give me a movie of this, and I will just become a drooling vegetable.
Same stat. Everyone wants to drool.
Sorry.
Well,
That's what...
even just like, Dragon Soul. A lot of that animation was so good. And then you have like
some of it was terrible as well.
And some of the other one, and it's like, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah.
But yeah, there were some parts that weren't great, but I think overall they did a really good job.
Just to pull it back to one kind of production-y sort of thing before we get to the fan thoughts.
All right.
I want a musical score by Shunsuke Kikuchi in the new movie, and it can be an entirely new score, but I think that's what I want, because the Jump Super Anime Tour special felt like Dragon Ball to me because of that.
What,
the other
what
new
was
stuff,
the music? I don't even remember. It's been a couple years since I've seen it.
what, the Jump special?
Yeah.
It was all just Z music.
It was
Oh, Z
recycled
music,
just
okay.
all recycled.
So we know it's obviously not going to be Yamamoto music.
Lulz no. But
What if it was?
that's what I want. I want new Kikuchi. Oh,
Modern Kikuchi.
yeah, right.
Let's see what he can do
the modern
25 years
flavor.
later.
Now that you say that, I really want that too.
But still have that old 70s kung fu-y vibe to it, but with modern production materials and methods. Done. Sold. Money. Take.
Because, let's see, we've had Hiroshi Takaki
Yeah.
doing the music in most of the previous
New
specials.
cutscenes and Bardock and Super Saiyans and stuff, so.
Well, they did, what was it? Plan to Eradicate the Super Saiyans, and literally took half of that music and just put it in an episode of Bardock.
And it was okay. I didn't have anything against it, but it was kind of forgettable to me. All right, let's take it over to the fans other than us. We're just going to run down through Twitter and see what everyone has to say. We'll give a couple snide comments along the way, probably, because that's what we're good at. And that's going to be our episode here. Meri, we're going to go from the bottom up toward the top. Get us going here with Fred.
I know this guy. I recognize this name.
This is a person.
Fred Levi?
Levy, I don't know. Fred.
All right, Fred, just Fred. Something cool where everyone gets to do something, like Tree of Might, except they don't all get defeated right away. I love that.
Yeah.
That is why I love Tree of Might, because everyone gets to do something.
Give everyone a chance.
Not just the
Poor
Goku
Chaozu.
show.
No, Chaozu. Fired blast, got hit. We didn't see him again. Heath, what's Carlos got?
Carlos says, Kame Senin and or Peachy Peachy Girls.
Pichi pichi gadus.
Just sexy Toriyama drawn women. That's it for the whole movie.
I guess. He says and or, so I mean, apparently he doesn't care if Kame Senin's in there. If there's
Just
Peachy
Kame
Peachy
Senin.
Girls. So, okay.
Okay, I'm all about this. Caleb says brand new villain and possibly the return of Tarble if it's set after the 2008 OVA. Tarble being still part of the gang would be interesting. I wouldn't have a problem with that.
All right, Kaboom writes, I want some Piccolo badassness. He's on the promo art with the science, so here's hoping he gets some overdue spotlight time.
Yeah, the last time Piccolo got to do something in a movie was faked out in movie 10. And then prior to that, I guess he left in movie 9. So movie 8, where I guess he fought against Broly for a little bit, is the last time we had Piccolo doing movie stuff, movie 8?
Yeah.
That sound right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Man.
Surprisingly, I never really even thought of that.
Because when he left in movie 9, he didn't come back to fight Bojack and everyone, right? He was gone after that.
No, because then Goku shows up and
Well, right. I mean, Yamcha came back, so good on him. All right, let's keep going here.
Yamcha never fails. All right, this one, I guess, might be directed at Meri. I'm not sure. So there will be some dragons and balls and future Trunks.
I would totally watch that. Well, I'd watch it anyway.
So my only question then would be, we would have Chibi Trunks and future Trunks in the same movie?
Yeah, that'd be weird because it is Boo
where they're old enough to recognize each other and fight. That I think that'd be a little weird.
Well, wasn't there a bit of, I don't know if it was like a video game opening or something that has both of them in it?
Budokai 2, I think, does.
Yeah, I want to see that.
You want a time paradox?
I do.
I'm all
Big
about
time.
this. And then Trunks becomes a time cop in Dragon Ball Online. Done.
Oh my
Yay.
god.
So, Daniel says, I'm hoping it's less ridiculous than the Yo Son Goku special.
Wrong. You go home now.
All right.
Get off my lawn.
Penguin Truth writes, no Broly. I'll drink to that.
I
Amen.
have decided
What?
that I want this movie to be, and I've already tweeted this, so it's like, well, wasn't it funny when I said it, like 3 days ago? But I want the movie to be the return of Ozoto from Dragon Ball Z VRVS, the arcade game from like 1993. The shape-shifting, he's basically Shang Tsung as Frieza and Janemba and Cell all combined into one.
So it'd be like a new, but not original.
Like Hachiak, where they brought him back, versus Broly, who turned Super Saiyan 3 to bring in some of this stupid heroes stuff, and they just yell at each other for half an hour.
I guess we were talking about the Dragon Ball Online aspect tie-in you could get from it. What if everyone in the entire movie just went Super Saiyan 3, whether they were Saiyan or not? And then at the end, it just says, go play Dragon Ball Heroes.
All right, moving on.
Okay. You would not watch that?
I would still watch it.
Okay. Our buddy Willie says, I'd like more action, more drama, a la episode of Bardock. Didn't really dig the comedic angle that the JSAT special had.
Wrong. You're dumb. Go home.
Old friend of the site, Rachel, says, I wouldn't mind more Tarble. Again, Tarble, we want all Tarble. Also, the increased possibility of a Region 1 release that isn't a video game.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, because
Amen to that.
it's all been game
I'm tired
only.
of getting things on video games.
All right. Taco writes, Mystic Gohan kicking some ass, obviously.
Obviously.
Obviously. We need some
Hell
Gohan
yeah.
love up in this piece.
Up in this piece. Where are you from? Where'd you
Not
learn to
this
talk like
decade.
All right. Is this Remy?
It's Remy.
Zane. Remy Zane sends in, hey, at least 7 subtle references to Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh my god. I don't even know what form that would take. Here's Chow Yun Fat in
Justin
cartoon
Chow
form.
just randomly walks across the screen during a fight scene.
Someone, I forget what the line was like, Dragon, the test of 7 has been fulfilled. And there's just this awkward silence, and someone turns, what are you talking about? Just something like that would be amazing. All right, so M-Tray, I guess it is. I'd like to see a Budokai-style tournament that's followed to completion. This is what I was remembering earlier. The ones in the Boo era always shifted focus, i.e. Royale. Yes, everyone left during that one, and then the final one to finish it all off, Goku and Oob left, so we never got the completion of that one.
Kieran writes, I'd want the movie to be like 2 hours long so it gets to be more than just a longer episode of DBZ.
I agree. We want something that's not just an episode.
We have Corpster94 says, I am hoping it's longer than the movies back then, and I hope the villain dies with more than one hit being thrown.
So we want something more akin to Broly, I guess, where they all fight for, well, even he ended up being defeated with a single punch. Bojack defeated with a single punch.
My whole thing, though, is, how do you not defeat someone with a single blow? Because only one thing
can finish them.
him.
Right.
You can't, one person fire 18 things and they all,
Well, it's like what they did with Hachiak, where everyone fired at once. But then it was really just Goku. I don't know. Desiree says Lord Slug remake.
That's pretty funny.
Fuck you. Get out of here.
But isn't the Lord
Desiree.
Slug remake just like a really lame remake of just...
It already is.
I know. I know, he's kidding.
Man.
Jacob says, Kurita, Shinichi, Tate, Naoki, Shida, Naotoshi,
Naotoshi,
and Onishirio returning for key animation.
It's all about his animators.
I've trained him well.
Yeah, you have. Buddy Caster. Broly and Ozoto fusion into Broly-Zoto.
Brolzotto. Sounds very Italian.
Oh, Brolzoto.
So
Stealing
I'll
my
order the
ideas.
Brolzotto, please.
Son of a monkey.
Mamma mia.
All right. Keep it going.
All right, Kaiser Neko says Super Saiyan 3 Pan. Fuck yeah.
Why not? Like you said earlier, everyone goes
Jesus
3.
Christ.
God damn it. And then Kerbifer says, Super Saiyan 3, Mr. Satan. I hate you all, but I love you all.
And then we had D Phoenix said Super Saiyan 4 Yamcha.
Everyone's just doing the same thing here. Okay, I see a trend.
All right, I'm going to switch it up. Sailor Spaz writes, just another fun adventure with all our favorite characters like the Jump Super Anime Tour Special. See, I like Stacy because we share a lot of opinions on the same thing like this. So
Good. Very
thumbs
nice.
up.
I approve. Let's see. Lenio. For some of the non-Saiyan characters to be of use. Except Yamcha. We all know he couldn't be of any use even if he tried.
That was great.
Man. Yeah, we have Caleb, Mr. Crispy Blader, says, for my horrible 8-year-old Dragon Ball Z Yao fan fiction.
Yowie?
Yowie.
Oh my god, no. No. 1,000 times no.
See, I'm not sure how to interpret this.
Why?
Are they saying that the Yowie of theirs is 8 years old? Like they
Or
did
they
it
were
8 years
8?
ago?
Because that'd be weird.
Yeah, or they made it when they were 8 years old.
Their Yaoi fan fiction is 8 years old.
Okay, not that they made it when
Let's
they
hope
were.
they're not 16.
Oh god.
Nathan says, I'd like another group of villains like Bojack's or Talus's groups, and for Funimation to get rights to it. Yeah, I want some henchmen as well. Henchmen are always fun.
Michael writes, limited U.S. theatrical release. You know
Why
what?
limited?
It could be possible. I mean, we saw.
I have to agree with
saw-
Mike. Why does this have to be limited?
Full scale.
I want it in every single theater nationwide.
Every theater. All-time blogs. Heath, I think this is the last one. Wrap it up here.
This one comes to us from Drew Baz. Since Goten and Trunks took care of Hitler before, sorry, that was the dictator. I think they should fight Osama bin Laden in this film. What the hell?
Too soon, I think. I mean, that would be totally awesome, but I think they need to wait another 50 years before that's kosher.
Well, that's okay. So that's the one we're finishing on, huh?
That was the perfect ending, I think.
Right.
Someone draw that, please.
Yes, I'd love to see some fan art of that.
Go 10 and Trunks. Osama bin Laden in the same style from movie 12 where it's like the thick cartoony outlines and everything.
Yeah.
Be fantastic. Done. Someone do it. By done, I mean
have
it's
we
not done.
done?
Please make it happen. Meri, let's start with you. We did this one on just Twitter as opposed to also on Facebook just because, I don't know. No real reason. But the fine folks of the internet can find us at a variety of places. You're in charge of telling them the central location where they can find everything. The podcast, the other links, the
I
content.
can do that. Yeah, you can trust me.
Yep.
Kanzenshuu.com.
That is correct.
You can also hit
the
us
Twitter.
up.
This one's good.
I know. This one is the same thing.
Yes.
Kanzenshuu.
Facebook. Let's just say click the link off the homepage.
Yeah, it's still DBZ for now.
Or you can fill out the contact form on every single page of the site.
The Facebook thing is weird. We have too many likes to just willy-nilly change things, but we're not significant enough for them to reply to any response or
So
contact
could
things
we
that
just
You gotta.
post something and tell like 300 people to unlike us and then
No.
find us again?
It's not even 300. It's like 1,200.
You can contact Facebook and see if.
I have.
Oh, you
They
have?
don't care. We're
do
not
it.
a company. They don't care.
Okay.
We
Facebook
should
doesn't
make-
care about Dragon Ball fans.
We should become a company.
We can do that. We could probably be an LLC if we wanted to. I don't want to, but it may have to come to that eventually. So Meri, thank you for all the detailed information and showing up and talking about the movie and all that good
Oh,
stuff.
that was fun. I'm even more excited about this movie than I was before, and I think I need to rewatch
See?
all the movies.
See.
So I can remember what the numbers are, because clearly I've forgotten the difference between 8 and 9 and
There's a
10
big
and
difference.
11.
There's a big difference.
So it's 8 and 9 and 10 and 11 is just a black hole. Even though
But you love movie 9.
I love movie 9, but
Why'd
yeah,
you
I got
skip
to
10 and
no.
11 should be a giant black hole.
I know, which
Yeah.
is why I screwed up the order.
And that's so weird because movie 11 is the basis of the Shin Butoden.
There you go.
Confusing 9 names here. Shin Butoden on the Sega Saturn. That's story mode. It's basically movie 11. That's so weird. And there's your fact of the day. You learned something new, internet.
So glad I've never played that game.
Heath, thank you for talking movie stuff as well, of course.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is a another exciting adventure that we get to wander down
Uh
together.
huh. That's right.
It seems like we've been doing this a lot for the last couple years.
Yeah, there's always a new thing. It's great. We like new stuff. We love old
2012,
stuff.
and there's still stuff to talk about.
We like mid-range stuff. Doesn't matter. We like stuff.
My favorite comment has been from people that don't really follow the series all that close, and they're just like, why will this franchise not die?
Yep. Because it's never complete. I mean, other than 97 to 01, I mean, it was pretty much dead during there. But in terms of the general American fan, it's never died because we didn't live through the doldrums back then because it was just being distributed over here. So it's always been alive.
Thank God.
You know, God is just Dende, right?
Only at that point, it depends on which part of the series you're referring to. Because then God is God.
Oh my dindy.
What the hiffle? What else is there?
Oh my kami.
Oh my God. All right, we're done. Mary, thank you. Heath, thank you.
Thank you.
For Julian off in Japan, for
Wait,
Jake.
we have site stuff.
What's that's right. What is going on with the site?
What's
So-
the deal with your site?
What is the deal with our site?
I remember that they said that in Seinfeld. We
They
say
did.
it that way.
See, I'm glad you guys know what I'm talking about.
That was a show.
Because we lived in the 90s.
All right, so Heath, what's up with the site? We got things coming.
So what's been up with the site is I finally got all of the credits done for the Dragon Ball anime series, and I am currently working on Dragon Ball Z. So I have up through 18 as of this podcast are up.
Cool.
Hopefully there will be more. And then throughout the week, Mike and I have more me than Mike, I guess.
Yes.
Worked on porting over a lot of the more recent features, OVAs, specials, whatever you want to call them.
Well, how much of it is porting? What did you have on Kanzenshuu? Did you have all three?
I
of
had
these?
all of them but Episode of Bardock.
Okay, so Bardock is new.
And technically, Episode of Bardock, for me, isn't new because the page was essentially done without a synopsis.
Oh, it
but it
was.
never got up on the site because then we started merging.
Right,
So,
okay.
Yeah. So those three are all over. I did add a bunch of new stuff to them. I talked to Julian, and we got all of the name puns for Episode of Bardock figured out. And
Nice.
I love it because they all make sense now, and it's hilarious.
Good to hear. And that's over in the movie guide. So
Yes.
that
so if you scroll
stuff's
through.
sort of new ported, and then I guess we'll go back and do the rest of the movies at some point as well.
And so there may be a content update at some point.
Cool.
Or
Cool.
people will just have to stumble upon them.
Oh, you know what I finished doing? Is I finished rewriting the intended endings guide. So there's no more contractions. And I love Jake, but there's no more of, so we're not going to talk about that right now. And those kinds of the casual forum version of it is now a little more formal of speakings.
Like the way you're talking right now.
Yes. The way the words I using
Smart making.
on internet's brain for smart making. So that was stuff I did.
And I think
That's
that's
how
about
you
it.
spent your summer vacation. See you next year. Stay sweet.
So I think that's about all that we've been working on right now. But we're porting a bunch of stuff. Hopefully I can have a ton of it done here soon.
Yeah,
Because I'd
port,
really
port,
like to.
I know. All right, so that's it, right?
Yep. That's
Okay.
it.
For Meri over there, for Heath over there, for Jake, for Julian, for all you lovely, wonderful, intelligent, beautiful, and very handsome folks. What?
It's such a good thing you can't see any of these
I
people.
love you guys. I hate you guys.
Seriously.
My name is Mike, VegettoEX. This was episode 304 of our podcast over at Kanzenshuu. We will see you next week for 305. Meri, any closing thoughts?
I ain't got any, but I want to watch movies.
All right, Heath, any closing thoughts? No, you got nothing. We're done. See you, folks.
You